Friday and I'm heading off to the quack, or to the hospital anyway. Got a consultation with the surgical team. It's for a very minor procedure. Just got to basically have a wound that I've had for a few years. It never heals. I want to get, I think they can hack into it and make sure that it finally heals, although I want to have a chat with them about that, whether that's really guaranteed or not, because the last op I had a few months back, I still have that, the wound from that still hasn't totally healed. There's a tiny scab. It's only small, but I just want to question them about that, whether it's going to be a permanent heal, because this other one I've been carrying for 10 years and it just keeps forming scabs, and then they fall off and it keeps going on. And I haven't had an infection with it up until now, so maybe I just had a good run. Anyway, it's a beautiful day here. I'm not happy being a medical lab rat again, because I'm going to have to go back to the hospital on a weekly basis again from now on. I've had my holiday, even though I didn't go overseas. I have had a break from that institutionalisation, so I suppose that's good. And now I'm going to be hitting the road, getting the bus. It's been about several weeks before I've taken a bus, so it'll be a new experience. Got a few bit of shopping to do at Smithfield on the way home. Probably prefer to shop at Central, but it's going the opposite direction. I think the Woolies at Central is a much better store, but it just isn't convenient to go that direction. I think it'd be smarter just to get the bus back to Smithfield and then see how I can get back here. Like I say, I'm fine for walking in the day, and the weather's a hell of a lot better. It's more conducive to exercise. Yeah, things are better. It's a nice time of the year to be here. Yeah, those mini loaders are amazing machines. You do a lot with them in a household setting with your yard and what have you. Never actually had anybody use that at my place. It's a good way to dig up earth, obviously, and so one of these days I might have. And there's a lot of cars parked up here. This is very busy. This is unusual. Well, good thing I've got to catch the bus on the other side of the road. No, yeah, it seems like it's tradie day. They're everywhere. Another skip. People throwing out the stuff, who knows? That'd be good outside, actually. I have actually seen stuff being definitely thrown out that you could pick up, but around the corner there's a house there. The people there have done it a couple of times. They had a bookshelf and some other furniture they put out for collection, so it's free and you could pick it up. Anyway, let's see when the bus is supposed to be ready. This could give you guys a good laugh at seeing how crappy my eyesight is. Got a lot of helicopters around here. It's a superb day weather-wise. I can't complain. It's just beautiful weather. Not too hot. Not getting any shade though. There's just no shade at the moment. I'll just stand back here. It's about the best I'm going to do. Didn't put any sunscreen on, so it should be sensible. The bus just went past. It was late, 7 minutes late, but no big deal. The main thing is it's on, it's running, and should be back here in about 5 minutes. I don't really want to go in and get any more gin, because it's a happy hour day, and I don't want to. It's too tempting having grog in the house after I get back from happy hour. It's probably best to have a dry house. And I might see if I can pick up the gin on Saturday. Maybe, I don't know, I'll see, because I might actually go and watch the footy, because Richmond's playing West Coast and it won't be broadcast, but I won't go unless Steve's interested. He sort of showed some interest in seeing the matches, but he's a bit of a, I think he's a bit of a royalist. He's hanging out for the coronation, but I imagine that happens late at night. I'm only guessing, I really don't know, but yeah, that would be his top priority Saturday, but I couldn't be bothered going watching a mediocre side like Richmond play going all the way to the sports club for that. The time's fine, so it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's good timing. But I'm not sure if that's the same day the Gary Ablett Jr.'s turning up. I'm not sure whether that's Saturday or Sunday, but it's about the same time. It's about the only added interest, I guess. Oh, I just have to wait an hour and 20 minutes to see a doctor who was very young and excelled in mumbling. I couldn't tell whether he was talking to me or to his computer half the time. And the bottom line is I don't have to go under the knife, but which I suppose is good, but the situation I've been coping with for about 10 years with a wound that won't heal properly. It just keeps forming a scab and just can't, not like a normal wound, it won't just heal across. They can't do anything about it anyway. I thought I was under the impression they'd be able to do something, but no. So that's the bad thing. That bus would have been at least a quarter of an hour late, so it's totally stuffed up my schedule. If the next one's late, I suppose I might catch that, but I'll probably miss it and have to get the other bus. So yeah, it's going to be a race against time just to make the 3:30 deadline for our walk to the beach house. This is insane. It should have been this. This is like when they cancelled that Jetstar flight on me, making a connecting flight to Vietnam. It's a bit more important that, but this is just damn annoying still. Because I should have had more than enough time, but having to wait an hour and 20 minutes for the medical appointment, that's a long time. And that's basically stuffed everything up. Anyway, hopefully I'll get what I need at Woolies, and then I'll be able to get the bus quickly. I got out pretty quickly, and I got a Supreme Pizza. What was it, about $4.60 or something for the McCain Supreme Pizza, which is very cheap these days. You won't get those specials at Coles. And it's about 20 past 3, and I'm supposed to be meeting Stephen and Yvonne just there in about 10 minutes. Talk about cutting it fine. I'll try to do it, but it's going to be very close. Oh boy, what a day. Yeah, that hour and 20 minutes I had to wait for the medical appointment totally threw out my schedule today, plus the late bus to Smithfield just totally stuffed me up. So I like to have a bit more wiggle room than that, but it's a 5-minute walk home. It's quite a nice day. Sunday late morning, a little after 11. Going to take the old e-bike out for a spin. Haven't been on it for about 6 weeks or more because I had that back problem. I'm all fine now. So it's a beautiful day. It's a good day to do the ride. It's pretty quiet on a Sunday. And so we'll see how it goes. I actually took a little bit of a risk with my cooking yesterday. I had the a salad which would with roast pumpkin. I cut it up into cubes, and the pumpkin had been in the fridge for in excess of 2 weeks. It was a butter pumpkin that I got from Coles. It was showing a little bit of mold in one section, but I just cut it out quite easily and roasted it up, and actually it was quite tasty. It might have actually helped the extra aging because it was quite nice. And the other item I had in my fridge that I'd had for over a couple of weeks was feta cheese that I got from Woolworths, and that was fine. I checked, there was no signs of mold, and it tasted fine. And I haven't had, that was yesterday for dinner, and I've had no side effects, no food poisoning or anything. So it, yeah, I don't know what they're putting into the food these days to keep it preserved. God knows what, you probably don't want to know. But it obviously works pretty well. Oh well, I've changed my shorts, as you can see, to the standard ones I had before, the baggy ones. Oh, it's one of those things you'd never expect to be an issue, but it is with this particular bike because it's such a high bike. So, you know, I shouldn't have any problems now unless I've somehow changed my my body shape since I had the back injury, so we'll see how it goes. Got to about 29 k's down the Poolwood Road. It's always a good run there, and Janet, I have to be on pedal assist 3 on Poolwood, then it didn't get above 2, and I was still able to get to 29 k's for a short period. So it's a very nice run down there. And there was a dodgy character hanging out where the bikes are, having a ciggy while I went into Liquorland. So there's no way I was going to leave my battery on the bike this day. I don't think I'll ever do that actually, even for a short trip. It's not that difficult to take it off and put it back on. So definitely worth it, because it's over $600 worth just the battery alone. So, and of course it's a disincentive for someone to nick the bike without the battery. So I figure it's a smart move. I also lock it up as well, of course. But yeah, a bit sweaty because it's the first bike ride I've had for like 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. It's a long time. Battery charge is still top at the moment. It's amazing how the batteries retain their charge. It's a good battery, good Samsung battery. So yeah, I didn't buy rubbish anyway. So even though it's a bit of a tank, a bit heavy, and of course difficulty if I'm wearing the wrong shorts, I can't put my leg over the frame, which is a bit of a problem. I'm not going to ride side saddle, that's for sure. Parking on a therapeutic back walk, one that will hopefully loosen up the old back muscles and vertebrae. Not feeling any pain, not really affecting sleep or anything. It's been fine since I got over it, but I've got to do these walks more regularly, and there's a beautiful day for it. The weather's, it's only a top temperature today, apparently about 25 they said. It might have got above that. Got myself a little splinter in my my small finger. It's quite irritating me actually quite a bit, and that'll teach me to do a bit of gardening. I actually ordered a number of seeds, about $33 worth, so I got quite a few online. It'll be delivered probably in 10 days time. Got some tomatoes. I definitely want to get more tomatoes. I discovered that one of my tomato plants is still alive, which is quite remarkable. Only one has survived out of half a dozen or so. So if it survived this long, it might be okay for another season. But I'm getting an Italian, I put an order in for Italian type seeds, tomato seeds, and they're creepers. So we'll see how that goes, but this is the best time of the year to plant that type of plant, and the greens as well. I've got some snow peas and normal peas that I've also ordered, and they'll only grow in the coolest part of the year here. It's been a disaster any other time. I've actually got, I was surprised to discover that I've still got quite a few capsicum seeds available, because I'm going to need them. I've only got one surviving capsicum, well I've got two, but only one's really providing any decent fruit. So there seems to be pretty high attrition with my plants. Only a couple will survive through to the next season from the way things are going. I think one of them, the biggest one I had, actually drowned. It was just so much rain. I should have taken it under cover, because I think the roots just went rotten. It was just so much water in the pot. So it's something to remember for future reference. I also planted the ginger root that I'd bought yesterday. I don't know if that's going to, it should germinate, but whether it'll provide the actual bigger root system that I can use to actually harvest the ginger from, that's another question, because I had a total failure in my last crop. But again, I planted at a different time of the year, and I don't know if that's going to have any effect. I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to plants, but I just need to pull my finger out and do a bit of work, because look, the weather has changed so remarkably. It's now a pleasure to go outside, and energy levels aren't affected by the heat. And yeah, it's just a good time to actually get out and about and do some gardening. So Still got to buddy bite the bullet and go down and have a swim down at the beach, but I'll walk down there today. But I'll just get myself back in the routine. I had my first e-bike ride since my back spasm, and that went okay. So hopefully I can do that on a more regular basis. Do a bit of bike riding. They have definitely started the bike path, the extension. That'll be brilliant once that's done. That'll be a real incentive to get on the bike and do a bit of just recreational bike riding along the beach. So yeah, I look forward to that. Yes, like I say, very pleasant day today, very pleasant weather, ideal. And if you're contemplating coming up north, this is the time to do it from now on. I've got a bit of bird life there. Is it a curlew? Or no, it's not a curlew, it might be a plover. I don't think it's a curlew or not. How would I know with my eyesight? I don't have a clue what I'm looking at. I tried removing the splinter, I had no hope with that. I've got tweezers, but I couldn't make any progress at all getting the damn thing out. Such a small piece of wood, and it just causes so much irritation with the skin. Anyway. Yeah, that was good, and I did my weekly frond duty where I've got quite a few fronds that I found hidden behind a tree that needed pruning. So I was only able to get about a third of them into the into my waste, my rubbish bin. Only about a third. So Steve has offered to take me down to the tip, give me a lift down there so I can get rid of the rest of it, but it's no rush. So, but it's always nice to know that offer's open, so because it saves a lot of money, because to get it done by getting someone to pick them up for you is going to cost a fortune. But the tipping charges are very low. I think about $6 or $10. I can't remember. They're pretty low. They're reasonable. So they'd be a lot cheaper than in a big city, I would presume. Anyway, there's the walking side ahead on the left. I'll get down to the beach. Not really hanging out for a big breeze today. It's not exactly hot. Just pleasant. It's not cold either. It's just and apparently down south in I read online that they had 0 degrees C in around Sydney. I don't know if it was in Sydney. I think it was outside of Sydney, but it's very cold south. That'd be an incentive for a few people to come up here. This may seem a bit cool to us, but to people living south of the border, they'd be very happy to have a 25-degree day and a lot of sun. We haven't had any rain for weeks either. It's been really dry. This is more the normal pattern now. So we may not get much from now on. I was going to water today, but there had been a little... When I say rain, we did actually get a little spot of rain in the morning, but for a very short period. I was going to water today, water the plants, but I decided not to because it's always so moist in the morning. Lots of dew on the grass and in the garden, so I decided not to. I'll have to give the plants water at some stage soon though. And yesterday when I actually rode up to Kawara Shops just to pick up some booze at Liquorland, on the return journey, I'm just getting back on my bike, the whole seat came out with the stem attached, so it was just loosely sitting on top of the bike, and so I was able to put it back in, but it would swivel from side to side. It had no stability, so I don't know what's happened with it. I tried to sort of see if I could secure it when I got home, but I had no luck. I'm not very good at that sort of crap, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's a bit of a blow, because I really need to get that fixed, and it is getting to, it's the time of year where I want to do more bike riding. So anyway, we'll see what happens, but yeah, that was an unexpected snafu. So I've had two repair jobs this week. I've had to heavily, I've got to get my roller door, the garage door, to be repaired. There's definitely a part that needs replacing, because I can't get it to roll up flush like it used to. So that's a pain, and unfortunately I hadn't heard from my handyman Dale, although apparently he's around, because I spoke to my friend Lynn, and she'd seen Dale earlier in that week. So he's definitely around, and he's definitely still working, so he's probably just busy, but I'll send him another text, because I do want to get that fixed as well. And on top of that, I went down the backyard yesterday and I discovered a whole crap load of dead palm fronds from just one plant, I think, actually. They'd all just dropped at once, just around where my compost bin is. And so I've got an absolute huge number of fronds that need to be taken to the tip. There's no way I'll be able to put them all in the bin. It'll take weeks for me to get through the amount that dropped. It would have been probably a couple of dozen fronds. It's huge. I never had that many at once. So one of the joys of home ownership, I guess. I mean, it is tempting almost to get a tree lopper out and just get rid of that particular plant, because it's going to be that messy. The other option is to get a mulcher, and maybe I should do that. I don't know. You've got to be careful though, because a lot of them won't mulch palms, and you need a particular type of mulcher to do that properly. So that's the other side of it. But considering I don't have a car, it is a definite option. So I might see what's available at Bunnings, and might pick one up. Now what we got here? Someone left a seat. Someone's obviously got jack of there being no seats around here, and they've actually left one at the bus stop. So I suppose that's enterprising of them. It looks pretty grotty and old, so I suppose they're probably throwing it out, but it's in a good position, I guess, because it's the bus stop. Now, what's an episode of a Stan series, a new mini-series called 10 Pound Poms. So it's sort of set, I guess, in the 50s, when English were enticed to come over to Australia to immigrate, and only cost £10 for the passage here, and then end up in a hostel. I mean, potentially it had a potentially quite a good story. You know, it's an interesting bit of history, and interesting seeing how English handled moving to a foreign land. Much more of a jolt those days than these days, where everything's much more global. But unfortunately, I thought it was abysmally written, and it almost seemed like it was a blast from the past. You know, a bit of it had some really strange characters, and it seemed like it had been written in the 50s. It had that sort of mentality about Australia, so that was weird. It was like They're a Weird Mob. I think that was actually in the 60s, that particular film. Cross between They're a Weird Mob and an element of Wake in Fright as well, with this weird scene with this crazy guy who tried to kill his workmate, who's the Englishman. He hated the Englishman. And then the next minute they're great buddies, even a bit homoerotic with them kissing one another. The whole thing was really weird. And then they go out on a midnight run along some deserted country road, and they hit someone. I think it might be a a foreigner, a kid who's actually also a migrant kid, and this redneck who's now the best mate of this Englishman. He freaks out, and it's also a BBC production by a company called 11, I think, a production company, and it's like they employed a writer who was on work experience. It's just terribly written. And like I said, it seems like it was actually written in the 50s, not something that's contemporary. So, unfortunately, it's a missed opportunity, because I think 10 Pound Poms is a great idea for a mini-series. I think it could be really interesting to see how... We know there were problems with them adjusting to a different lifestyle here, and Australia was a different place then. It wouldn't have been easy. It would have been better in certain ways, but pretty bad in others. You know, certainly lacked a level of sophistication they're probably used to over there. So, although their standard of living, I presume, would have been a lot better here, but certainly the weather, that's excluding Melbourne, would probably be a lot better too if they weren't going to Melbourne. Well, this one, they had them actually docking at Circular Quay, and I don't know how accurate that was, whether the ships actually went that close to central Sydney, but they couldn't miss the opportunity of having the Harbour Bridge in the background for the scene. So, but I wouldn't recommend it, and I think I'm just waiting to see what the reviews are like on Internet Movie Database, which I've been using as my source of reviews for years. I think there's a lot of interest in the series going on what I've saw recently, but it looks as though I think it's going to get some pretty bad reviews. So anyway, we'll see what how people judge it. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever, and either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.